Welcome to Work Life with Praveen. And in today's video, I'm going to be informing all of you all that I'm going to start a 15-part series, which will be coming on YouTube every Wednesday. And this is purely on leadership. So, over the past 9.5, 10 years from the time I've started as a leader, as a people leader, or a manager, in other words, I've learned a thing or two. And I thought this is the right time for me to actually share that knowledge to whoever is interested in either becoming a leader in some time near future, or maybe someone who is already a leader or a manager and would like to enhance their skill sets as a good leader, or just to get better at being a leader or being a manager. So starting tomorrow, I'll be launching or I'll be releasing one video which will cover that particular topic for next 2.5 months, which is roughly 15 or 16 weeks. And the very first video, which is going to be available tomorrow, will be on foundations of leadership, where I will be defining what leadership is all about, and also I'll be covering what the role of a leader should be or is actually when it comes to the responsibility, when it comes to the influence that they have on their teams, or the kind of accountability that their individual self has to take. Then I will be covering, the week after that, I'll be covering the self-leadership and emotional intelligence, where basically I'll be covering anything to do with self-awareness, where understanding your strengths, weaknesses. As a human beings, all of us have our biases. So I'll be covering that bit as well. And also I'll be covering something like an emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, in other words, which is also called as EQ, where I'll be talking about why developing emotional awareness is important, why developing an empathy is important in any leadership roles, or why interpersonal skills is of a paramount importance when it comes to being a leader. Also, I'll be speaking about how you can be resilient and how you can manage your stress better, because let's say if you're not resilient in testing times, or if you're not able to manage the stress in testing time, that will be passed on to your team and your team members. So I'll be speaking about some of the techniques for personal resilience, and I'll be speaking about how you can manage stress effectively. And also I'll be speaking about in that video, I'll be speaking about why being mindful for you as a leader is also very important. I'll also speak about how you could practice presence and how you can focus in decision making and interactions, where your whole intent will be to kind of just be there in that moment. So all of this will actually help you to be a better leader. Then also the week after that, we will be covering the communication skills. Communication skill is something that is important for pretty much all the roles, but being a leader, it is a very important skill that you have to learn. Now, not everyone is born with this skill. In fact, no one is born with a communication skill. Slowly they learn, they adapt, they get better at things. So that is where the communication would play an important role, where I will be speaking about the techniques for you to actually listen actively, or the technique to truly understand what your team members or even your peers or your boss is going to speak. Also, I'll be speaking about assertive communication, which is how to communicate and how to communicate clearly and confidently. I'll also cover a bit of conflict management, which is managing disputes among team members, managing disputes with yourself and let's say your peer or your team members or your bosses or your super bosses or anyone in the organization. So I'll be speaking about in that bit, I'll also be speaking about fostering a collaborative environment. And there's also something called non-verbal communication. how your body language would play an important role, how your tone plays an important role when it comes to leadership. So that is something that I'll be speaking about. Again, in week 3, I'll be speaking about communication skills, where I'll be speaking about active listening. I'll be speaking about assertive communication. I'll be speaking about conflict management or conflict resolution. And also, I'll be speaking about non-verbal communication. In week 4, I'll be speaking about team leadership and collaboration, which is how you can build and lead a high performance team, how you can develop trust, how you can develop accountability, how you can have a shared goals with your team members. Also, how effectively can you share with your team members, or actually they just get to know that you trust them. So that is something that I'll be speaking about in week 4. Also, I'll be speaking about how you could motivate your team members, which is how can you identify intrinsic or extrinsic motivators, and how you can apply them on your day-to-day basis work. Is something that I'll be speaking about. I will also be speaking about in week 4. I'll also be speaking about how you can be diverse and inclusive at the same time, which is how can you lead a diverse team where you have a cultural awareness, and also where you have inclusion at the same time. And in week 5, I'll be speaking about decision making and problem solving, because not all the leadership skills, not being a leader, you not necessarily will only focus on the people side of the things. You will also focus on the business side of the things, so that you can actually help the business and also help your team members to understand some of the decisions that the business leaders take. So I'll be speaking about decision making skills or problem solving skills, or decision making, in other words, basically decision making models is something that I'll be speaking about. I'll also be speaking about the approaches like rational decision making, intuitive decision making, and collaborative decision making. I'll be speaking about creative problem solving, where you can foster innovation and out of the box thinking with your team members. I'll be speaking about risk management, which is how can you analyze and mitigate risk in leadership decisions. Also, we'll cover ethical leadership, which is making decisions based on ethical considerations and integrity. Then week 6, we will speak about why it is important to have vision and strategy, how you can develop a vision, how you can be strategic in all your planning, and how you can lead the change when it comes to managing and guiding team members through organizational changes that happen so often in our lives. Also, I'll be speaking about sustainability and long-term success, because let's say success is not just a one-step process. Let's say someone gets better, even you as a leader, you probably just became a manager. Obviously, for you, it would be important to become a senior manager or an operations manager. So that would require a long-term success strategy. So we will focus on that bit, and we will focus on the sustainable leadership and growth model as well. And as a leader, there could be a lot of situations where basically there would be crisis in your personal life, in your professional lives, and let's say someone in your team has a crisis, personally, professionally, whatever. But as a leader, you have to be skilled to be able to kind of manage that particular crisis situation. So we'll speak about that in week 7. We will speak about how you can come up with a response plan. We will speak about how you can build trust during the turbulent times. Obviously, when I say that, what I mean by that is you have to have a trusting team well before the turbulent times come. But they will come some sooner or later. It's all about how you can implement that trust, or you can just reiterate that trust within your team members or your whole team, and basically help them maintain team morale or loyalty during tough times. Then we'll speak about, in week 8, we will speak about leadership ethics and integrity, which is leading with integrity, our corporate social responsibility, accountability, and transparency. We will speak about ethical dilemma in leadership, which is basically navigating difficult moral decisions and their implications. There would be a lot of situations where you will be off track when it comes to some important decisions, and how you can have a true north for yourself, saying, okay, these are my values, these are my principles, I will follow this no matter what. Then we will speak about in week 9, we will have how you can be a good coach and a good mentor, the art of coaching, the art of feedback mechanism, and the art of growth as well. Week 10, we will speak purely on innovation and change leadership, which basically means how can you foster a culture of creativity and experimentation, agility and flexibility. We often hear the term disruptive leadership, but some of us know what it actually means. I mean, some of us actually have been told that, okay, let's say, I've sometimes tried to tell this to our team members, saying, okay, you know what, let me be a disruptive leader, but sometimes that kind of breaks the team. I've had to learn that a hard way, and there were a couple of learnings for myself, so I thought it is an important topic which I will cover in week 10. Then we will speak about, in week 11, we will cover what it means to be a leader in the digital age, especially in the situation where during COVID, post-COVID, some of our team members are remote, some of our team members are hybrid, some of our team members are in person. They come to office in person every now and then. And we have to adapt to different situations, different tools per se, or probably we'll have to adapt to different working styles every now and then, in fact every day. So we will speak about leading virtual and remote teams. How is it different? What can you do about it? We will also cover some of the transformations that is happening in the world of technology, something like AI. What can we do to kind of lead through the technological changes, and how can we help our team members to adapt to the new tools? We will then, in the same video, we will also cover how you can be a leader using the data, or basically how can you drive your decisions based on the data that is available. We will also have a little bit of cybersecurity or digital ethics part of it, because it's very important for you to understand what are the ethical implications when it comes to the digital age, and how you can, or what tools can you use, because not all the tools are allowed in all the organizations. Some organizations might be okay with tool A, B, or C. Some organizations might just be okay with A and C, not B. But as a leader, it's very important for you to understand why that is so, and basically explain your team members so that they know the logic behind it. If not, then obviously the company can be sued for millions of dollars. So we don't want that situation. So we will cover that in week 11, when we will cover the whole of leadership in digital age chapter. Then we will have in week 12, we will have something like how you can use your influence and power when it comes to building a good team. However, in this episode, or in week 12, I will try to put across a very straightforward difference between power and how can you misuse it or use it to the benefit of the team and the organization and for yourself. Also, I'll speak about the power dynamics of leadership, which is how can you leverage your formal and informal power. All of us have it. Our team members would have it. We will have it. But as a leader, we will have that. We'll have to be that extra cautious when it comes to the leveraging our formal or informal power. We will speak networking, and we will cover networking and relationship building, which is how can you build a very strong professional network and peer group as well, so that when the time comes when we need a lot of people to our help or to support us, we have good number of people who can help us professionally. And the last bit, I think, in week 12, we will also cover how, as a leader, you can lead by example, which is basically what behaviors can you demonstrate and what can you show to your team members, or in fact anyone in the organization, so that they can actually trust you and say that, okay, this is a natural leader, and I want to, let's say, if at all, if I become a leader sometime in future, this is the kind of leader I would like to be. Then in week 13, we will have a discussion around why is it important for leaders to continually learn, grow continuously, upskill themselves, which is how can you become a lifelong learner, how can you keep upskilling yourself so that you can develop as a leader, how can you have a personal growth plans, how can you manage mentoring and feedback loops with your bosses or your super bosses. And then we will also be speaking about what can you do when it comes to the succession planning and coming up with, or let's say helping the budding leaders in your team so that you can move on to the next role, but at the same time leave the business or the team in good hands. And the last bit, I think last but one bit, would be around how can you be a good leader, but also basically what is leadership when it comes to in diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is understanding biases. How can you have an inclusive leadership style? What's equity versus equality? How can you lead diverse team members within your team? So all that is something that we will cover in week 14. Then the last bit would be around personal leadership and well-being, which is most important topic, I would say, because I was just watching this blog from Steve Bartlett, and he was speaking where around 80% of UK citizens feel that they are stressed in last 2 years. So work-life balance is of paramount importance to the organizations, to the leaders. So week 15 is something that is where we will cover that, which is how can you maintain personal well-being, how can you fulfill your leadership responsibilities, but at the same time be empathetic about some of the challenges that your team members might have when it comes to their personal life or work-life balance. We will also speak about time management skill sets for leaders, where we will go through some of the techniques which will help us to manage time and energy effectively. Also, some of the techniques when it comes to your physical and mental health, the importance of health and wellness in sustaining leadership performance. And then we will have the last chapter, which is in week 16. Probably we will also speak about leadership and purpose, which is how can you find true meaning when it comes to your being a leader, and what is the purpose of a particular leadership role. I mean, let's say a manager or a supervisor or a senior manager or a director. We will go through some of the things which some of the stories or some of the discussions where we will speak about leadership and purpose. So with that, we will, over the next 16 weeks, we will cover pretty much A to Z of leadership. The videos will come out every week for all these individual chapters on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe so that you can be notified by YouTube as soon as I upload a new chapter. And if you are looking forward for this new series, please hit that like button, and please hit subscribe so that you can be notified. Until then, be great, be relentless. Have a great day.